can you avoid being pressured into tests and procedures in your pregnancy? All right, so here's the scenario. You happen to be maybe 35 or high risk, or maybe you just happen to be with somebody who is kind of pushing you in a certain direction. Like, I wasn't 35 yet and I wasn't really high risk, but I was a smaller frame, and I did happen to have a few growth scans that were telling me that my baby was too small. It turns out it wasn't true. Here's what you really need to understand. Yes and no, you can avoid the pressure. But how you do it is different than just not having a care provider push back at all. They're going to push back. The reason they're going to push back is simple. Fish can't see the water that they swim in. And our medical system is built on the idea that your body is broken and defective and needs medical assistance. That's why there are so many prenatal appointments that you are going to, and they have a really, really long list of them, and they have all these tests, and you're wondering, it's like, I don't really want to go in every single week for these prenatal appointments because all they do is scare me. And here's what a lot of my clients end up doing once they understand with the empowered birth method and they release their fears and they trust themselves and they trust their own intuition. They stop going to those appointments. They only go to the appointments where they feel that they actually want to have that medical assistance. They only go to the hospital if they feel that they really truly need to go. Some of them plan unassisted home births. Some of them will plan assisted home births. Some of them will plan to go into the hospital at the last possible minute, and some will go a little bit earlier to get some medical assistance. But the choice remains theirs. Now, the idea of avoiding the pressure, there's two ways of going about this. There's the way of, I'm just going to do whatever they say to avoid them pushing me into something worse, which is fawning. It's one of the fear responses that I teach inside my Empowered Birth Academy and inside of my Empowered Birth workshops. The other thing that you need to recognize is that if you're just running away and saying, I'm just not going to deal with it at all, and I'm not going to build up the tools and resources to be able to handle it if it does happen, well, then you're also doing yourself a disservice. So one of the things that my mentor and friend Annie Lala talks about in relationships is the idea of only being around someone as much as you can still love them and appreciate them and like them and stand for their highest good. If you're starting to diminish them or feel contracted around them, then that's too much time. And the same thing goes with your care provider. If you happen to have a care provider, and sometimes you don't have many options, sometimes you might be in a maternity care desert, where this is the only OB or the only midwife that is able to take you on, or that your insurance will allow you to take on, and you do want to have some level of medical assistance. You don't want to go through a completely wild pregnancy, which, by the way, is allowed. You can choose to do that. And if you choose to have a wild pregnancy, that doesn't say anything wrong about you. It just means that that's something that you feel that you want to have. But it should always be a choice. It should never be something that you're taking out of fear because you don't know how to use those tools to advocate for yourself. So the thing is that you really need to tune inward, and you need to ask yourself, why am I going to this appointment? Why am I agreeing to go and do this non-stress test? Why am I agreeing to go and do this extra ultrasound? And this goes back to what I talked about yesterday about to test or not to test. It's an internal decision. It's not something that you can look with a bunch of pros and cons, and you can't just ask a bunch of people in the mom group what they would do. Because again, fish can't see water that they swim in, and we have been indoctrinated into a culture of fear where you have been told over and over that you just have to listen to the doctor. But what happens if you tune inward and you say, every time I go into these appointments, I'm not getting anything out of it. It's not reassuring me that anything's on track. I'm not finding any actual value in going. All I have to do at these appointments is completely fight and say no to this induction that keeps getting pushed on me. And I just don't feel like dealing with that anymore. Well, in that case, the appointment isn't serving you. It's only basically filling that checklist that says, did you go to this appointment? Did you do this? Okay, yeah, you're a good mom. But what if you're thinking, I'm a good mom already because I'm following my instincts and I'm trusting in myself. And if I feel that something's wrong, then I'll go in. Then I'll get the support that I need. But until then, I'm not going to go to this routine appointment. I'm not going to allow them the opportunity to pressure me. Because if you don't even get in your car and you don't go to that office, how are they going to pressure you? They can't. But if you're sitting scared at home, also anxious that they're going to call you and you don't have the tools to deal with that, then when they call you, that can put stress on you. So it's not just about fleeing the scene, and it's not just about avoiding it. It's about recognizing that you're doing something because you feel that there's a value in it. If there's no inherent value to you, then when they make that phone call and they say, oh, hey, why aren't you at this appointment? Rather than feeling that shame or that guilt or that fear that comes up of, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble, you can be like, yeah, I just don't see the need to do that today. I'll let you know if I decide to change my mind. That puts you again in the driver's seat. So, if you want to know more though about these tools for advocacy and how you can turn this around so that no matter what pushback other people try to do on you, you stay in your power, then I would invite you to check out some of my other resources. Your Empowered Birth. It's backwards because I have this on just a live stream on my phone. But the thing is that if you go and get that book, Your Empowered Birth, what this does is it helps you to start asking those questions. It's the same method that I've taught all of my clients. I also have an Empowered Birth Academy. What this does is Your Empowered Birth Academy helps you get past your fear, helps you navigate the medical system so you can see all of the loopholes that they don't want you to know about, that you often have to learn through trial and error. You learn how to get your partner as a powerful advocate for you so that when you do inevitably go in for that appointment, maybe you're feeling a little bit of fear around it, but you know you want to get something checked, like having your high blood pressure checked, just to make sure that you're still on track because you have a backup plan for induction, like my friend and business partner Jenny did. She runs the Birth House Network and Empress Birthworks. Check her out. She's awesome. But what that does is you've got your partner on board. They're not going to put that fear on you of being like, well, maybe your doctor's right and maybe we should do it this way. Instead, they're like, babe, you got this. You know how to do this. You don't have to go to that appointment. If you don't even want to take that call, I'll take the call for you and I'll tell them to leave you alone. Because I've done that with some of my clients, is I've trained them up so that the partner takes that load off. So all mom has to do is just tune into her body and just relax and just wait for baby to come, or if she's already in labor, to protect that safe space. And then the final piece of my Empowered Birth system inside of Your Empowered Birth Academy is the advocacy skills. So you need all of this. You need to be able to get past your fear. You need to be able to have that truth, recognize the loopholes, understand how the system actually works, and then advocate for yourself in a way that you don't get that pushback. Because either you're so resourced that no matter how much they try to scare you, you're like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. They're trying to scare me. Oh, yeah, I see that tactic. I see that. But I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to feel any of that fear. And I'm still going to say no. And I'm going to walk away and I'm going to feel really confident. And maybe you get the care provider who starts to change their mind. And they're now on your team and they're on board with what you want to do. And they're clapping for you when you have that amazing, beautiful, empowered birth that the medical system and our birth culture says is impossible, like an unassisted VBAC or a home birth after 2 previous cesareans. Like all of these things that you're saying you can't do, and you prove it, and now your doctor or your midwife now has those tools to be like, actually, I had a client who did that, so now I can practice in a different way. And not only that, you don't have to worry about feeling like a bad mom just because you're saying no to something. You're tuning into yourself, which is a tool that you're going to want to have as you get into the toddler years and the infant years and the teenager years. And like, there's always somebody who has something to say about your parenting or how you live your life with your family or how your relationship is with your partner. And you need to be able to stay in your truth. So if you want that, again, all you have to do is go to my website, empoweringmomsbirth.com, go to the contact information, type in the subject line, Empowered Birth Academy, and I will get back to you and I'll see where you're at, see if the academy is right for you. And if you are, then we'll talk about that further. I'll possibly even have more questions for you because I want this to work. I want this to work for you. I'm not just putting this stuff out just for anybody to just be like, oh yeah, that was a nice training, but I'm not going to do anything with it and I'm not going to get the results. No, this is my baby. This is my 3rd baby that I just, seeing how this works for moms, I want this for everyone. And yeah, and if you really enjoyed this video, make sure you like and follow this channel. I also have other trainings. If you go onto my website, that's where you get my free resources. I have little tips and guides that you can grab and download. They have the list of the natural birth traps. They have red flags you want to watch out for. I have little miniature master classes that I've also put on there. And all of this is available, as I said, on my website, empoweringmomsbirth.com. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you try this, if you maybe decide it doesn't even have to be around your care provider. Maybe it's something in your family. Maybe there's somebody in your family who is saying that they don't feel comfortable with you having this natural birth or this VBAC or this home birth, and you just want to love them, but you want to see less of them. And see how that affects your ability to stay in your power and not give into fear and not feel that anxiety and overwhelm and doubt and wondering if you're actually doing the right thing. Because the truth is that nobody else can decide for you what's right for you. And when you recognize that you can put those boundaries up and you can say, I'm only going to go to this many appointments, or I'm only going to see this person a handful of times, and that's going to allow me to stay in rapport with them, stay loving to them without resenting them, the game changes. All right? So put in the comments if you do that. And if you would rather not have it in the comments, but you just want to send me a message, again, you can always contact me. Go to my website, send me a little message and tell me, or DM me. And I am accessible to you because I want to cheer you on. I love this. I love when I put my stuff out there and it becomes something else for someone else. Because the moms, they're like, if you hadn't said that thing, I would have had a C-section. If you hadn't said that thing, I would have been pushed into another hospital birth. But because you said that thing, I was able to do this. And thank you. And I want to help you on your empowered birth journey. Okay? So I'll talk to you later.